Hey, how you doing? This is Georgia Truck Driver Nation. So what we're going to go over this one. This is to help those people that are actually looking to get into freight dispatching because I mean this is obviously the money's good. So there is a lot of interest, but you need to know what you're stepping into. And the reason I'm doing this is because I just get too many damn people calling me. So I took this course, I took this. When I do you a general conversation, right? And you're calling to talk to me and you're not telling me the basics of what you need to know as a freight dispatcher. Um, I mean, because if you're already an experienced freight dispatcher, we actually help you out. We literally would get you on our operators so you can be an independent freight dispatcher. But when you're calling us and, it's the difference between somebody said, well, I've been in logistics. Logistics is a broad scope. It's a lot of different things than entail being in a freight dispatcher. But if you call me and you say, yeah, I've been a freight dispatcher, but I'm asking you certain questions that you need to know in order to help that given owner operator provide your service, which that's what you're doing. And you can't answer those with the completeness, even the mild completeness of what needs to be answered inside those, kind of prerequisite questions, then I can't take it in honest truth with, clarity in my mind and full heart type of deal and say, well, yeah, here, absolutely. You are the real deal. Um, even at the level that I am at 30 years in experience, you don't think I don't still make mistakes? Man, come on, dude. This is the real world. That brain pan in between your ears is just a piece of tissue that got neurons and axons and everything in it. And that's where the information is stored. Um, and then how that pans out, obviously, can really show you what you've been exposed to. So the reason I'm doing this is to help people because if you already experienced your training, I would still love to work with you. Absolutely. But before you go buying a freight dispatch course, you need to know these points to understand what you're getting. And another thing is, why would you do a freight dispatch course if they're not going to help you get going? They want to put you back into the slave ship where you're working with them. That's not necessary. I mentor my people. If they engage me, I can't make people engage me, but if they're engaging me and they're asking me the given questions, then I can literally just answer them, right? But if you're engaging me and you're not giving me the full scope of the question, then that hinders me to give you the correct question. And so after all, that secondary fallout is because you didn't know how to ask the right questions and you didn't know how to transmit that information to me correctly. So that's going to hurt you as well because in freight dispatching, we're the crossroads, literally the crossroads between the direct shipper, the broker, and the given carrier that you represent. So that being said, let's go over this real quick. This was people ready to get into freight dispatching, ready to take a course so you can get up to speed so you can work from home and effectively work for those owner operators in the capacity and to the level that they expect so they can get the gross revenue that they need. And obviously, that way it establishes a relationship between you, builds up your overall reputation of being an effective freight dispatcher, and obviously turns into a career for you. So let's start right here. This is the key criteria for choosing a freight dispatch training program to qualify as an independent freight dispatcher. Now, to become a qualified independent freight dispatcher, selecting the right training program is crucial. A good program equips you with the skills, the knowledge, and the tools. Remember the tools, knowledge and tools ain't sure the hell ain't the same thing. People want to say that knowledge and tools, that's the tools that you learn from getting the knowledge. Tools is actually what you need to actually go to work. Okay. I may know how to use a hammer. I may know how to use a nail, but that don't mean nothing if I don't have a hammer and a nail. And the tools to manage freight logistics, negotiate with brokers and carriers, and operate as a successful dispatching business. Below are the key criteria to look at for in a freight dispatching training program tailored to ensure you're prepared to work independently in the logistics industry. That means whether you have a team or not, you're the lead dog, right? Or you're doing it to actually get into the family, help the family. You don't want to come in not knowing after you spent this time doing the course. Now, these insights are based on industry standards and in the context of the Truck Driver Nation Freight Dispatcher course. That's me, George with Freight Truck Driver Nation, which serves as a reference for the best practices. Now, one is a comprehensive curriculum covering the dispatching skills. What to look for: training on load board navigation, that truck stop, to find and book freight load, to book the loads effectively. Um, obviously instruction on the broker carrier communication. What are my tactics? What's my strategy? How do I handle them? Do I let them give me the bid? Do I bid for the freight? And how do I actually come up with the bottom dollar settlement that we're going to actually do? Have the rate confirmation is going to come out. Um, and obviously the contract terms, because in the relationship building comes between the rapport between us. If I'm not digging you, you're not digging me. Let's just do this deal and keep on moving down the road. But the contract, that's going to be that rate confirmation and stuff that you got to understand what should and should not be in there that could jeopardize the overall profitability of your given owner operator. Now, coverage of freight types and equipment, such as drive and reefer, flatbed, step deck, and other types of, and understand the carrier needs. So each trailer has its own principle that it can be used for, its own workability. Okay. So, and that being said, how can you use those and what platform is it good to use them? I mean, you just want to stick with dedicated freight on it? Do you want to do FTL or do you want to do LTL? Is it, perishable? I mean, what does the unit have? What kind of securement equipment, et cetera? And that company should actually teach you and give that information. Now, it's your responsibility to study for it. Let's make sure we understand that. But asking me questions that may or may not be in the curriculum from scenario-based situations, that's what I'm here for, to make a complete understanding of how those things that we've already given you, how you took them, how you actually assimilate them in your overall building, the building blocks that actually build you to be a very qualified independent freight dispatcher. Now, lessons on pricing and rate confirmation to secure the profitable loads while maintaining client satisfaction. The clients, you got more than one client. You got the client that's the owner operator, you have the client that's the broker or the direct shipper. So you're actually trying to spread that overall satisfaction between everyone. That's the reason lines of communication. If you cannot communicate, don't do this. Okay. If your heart's not in this, don't do this. People, thing is, people come to me and they think we're just selling you something. Jack, I don't need those problems. This is the industry I've drove in for 24 years. This is what I know. This is what I feel. I got friends in it. Everybody I'm associated with is within this. And everybody says you're doing great out there because we get so many great reviews about you and everything you're doing. And I'm going to continue that standard of care when it actually comes to teaching you how to do freight dispatching. So make sure you understand that when it comes to pricing and rate negotiation and these things like this, that we want to make sure that we're keeping that, because price and rate confirmation negotiation has to do with that gross revenue. We could be selling watermelons and it could be the seedless type where the damn thing is as sweet as the little sweet honey, Southern Belle type of deal. You know what I mean? But it's got good quality to it. If you're not getting the money, then you're not going to secure your owner operators. They're not going to stay. They didn't come for your friendship. They came for results. Now, also basic logistics software. We're talking about TT. I mean, whether you use a TMS, ATS, CRM, or whatever you're going to use for tracking shipments and managing their workflows. I got 7 trucks. I dispatch them. I literally just do them I use a Google form. But now if you're going to go higher volume and you're going to start bringing dispatchers under you, then it's just not for you. It's going to be for you so you can actually evaluate and watch those given other dispatchers or whatever the circumstance might be to make sure that they're effective under you. So when you go to learning this software, lots of it, I just teach you, this is what I do. Da, 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 da. That's all I need. If you want to press the buttons and do all the other stuff and see what the underlying help is and all these different things, how it actually operates inside of a given system, then that's your prerogative. But anyways, overall, why does this all matter? Because independent dispatchers must handle all aspects of load coordination without relying on a company's infrastructure. Okay. A robust curriculum ensures that you can operate confidently and competitively. So it's my responsibility to ensure that you're not dependent, because if you're going to work for a trucking company, go ahead. I mean, do your thing. Just remember, you gave away thousands of dollars per week to somebody for what did they give you? When I'm giving you the exact same thing. Back when we were actually, like I tell people, we used to charge $3,600 for the course. You got everything. You got everything that required a subscription and the whole 9 yards, and we did it for 6 months. So now what you want, if you actually want to talk to me, we brought it down to $1,250. And if you want the basics, which we make sure everything's encompassed in this so that you're getting everything without needing me to, attaboys, and that's fine. Then obviously you want the 500. And that's the majority of the ones that we sell because it's got everything they need and then some. And it makes people completely satisfied. In fact, they're thrilled because we're giving them bang for the buck times about 5 or 10%. I mean, 10 times, right? So that ain't 5 or 10%. So 10 times, if you went 10 times, 100 times 5, so 500%, in case people didn't understand that. And you got to be good at math. Make sure you can, just like I just said that's the whole thing about this. Me listening to you as your instructor and as your mentor, I have to hear the terminology and the way you structure the content when you're telling me. If not, misconceptions and misunderstandings really do happen. That's the reason my logo is, if it ain't right and it didn't happen, and pay attention to detail. I cannot preach it enough. So here's an example. Let's say a program like Truck Driver Nation's $500 course should include modules like on load board strategies, broker negotiation to prepare you for real world scenarios. We include that and then much more. And that's just saying the basics. But I cannot see how you can get by with just those few things. So as a actual overall professional truck driver and freight dispatcher and truck driver recruiter and everything, I include all those elements that I know you're going to need, even if you don't see it yet. Because what I'm doing is not just taking what you already know or taking where you want to go to. We're developing your problem solving skills. And without the problem solving skills, then again, you're cut off at the knees. Now, next thing is going to be regulatory and compliance training. Now, what do you need to look for? You need to look for education on the FMCSA, which is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, as far as their regulations, including the hours of service, ELD device, and what the ELD device does for you when monitoring those hour services, and you as an independent freight dispatcher, how you view those when booking your shipments, no matter who it's with. Because remember, this is under federal law, so this has to be done. And can it come back on you? I've never tested it. Okay. I mean, because I stay straight to the book. If they want to violate their logs, they've got to violate their logs. And if they want me to call and get them to readjust something with their ELD provider, I really can't do that because remember, people are wrecking and killing a lot of people out there in interstate. And accountability and negligence of whatever you're doing can really hang you out to dry. So I'm just telling you, stay with what the actual federal government does. If he's not making enough money, okay, either one, you're the wrong dispatcher for him, they're willing to do whatever he's asking you to do, or you're not actually generating the correct freight for that given trailer for whatever lanes that he's actually freight lanes that they're in. Now, guidance for broker carrier agreements, the insurance requirements, authority verification to ensure compliance. You as a freight dispatcher, we teach all that as far as in reference to getting your limited power of attorney and your overall understanding that you represent that carrier in the best light that supports their overall needs as an independent business, and you're actually that binding factor that is there to ensure that they're maintaining profitable while actually still doing the checks and balances on whatever they have in their system to try to make it a better situation, because everything's based on how much percent are they paying for this, like insurance, ELDs, all these different things. That's actually their overhead, because everything that they're putting out, they're putting the money up front. And your job is we teach you how to actually evaluate these things so you can effectively negotiate any given problem if that owner operator is willing to work with you on it, because you present him it. Final say so is his. He owns the truck, but we obviously teach you as well. That's just one step in what we teach you when it comes to understanding the policies and authority and all that good stuff. Now, training on DOT, that's Department of Transportation, on the rules to how to verify carrier safety records. Yes, very simple process. Once you get that, you just do it for every given carrier you have, and that ensures that actually who you're getting in bed with. The basics of factoring and payment terms to avoid legal and financial issues with clients. Yes, we teach you how to factor. We teach you how to invoice. We teach you how to get that final rate confirmation. So everything's in your hand. The broker has agreed on it. Not saying that you better make sure that you're using a platform. I use Ring Central AI, and I say Ring Central, it's Ring Central, but it has AI involved. It gives me short notes on what was happened, timestamp. Also, I can record my conversations. And so next time I'm talking to them, I can see what our final note was based on that last conversation. If it goes beyond that, we'll back up a couple of things and look and see what was said, because it's still in there. And that makes it a lot easier for you to follow through and not having to make extra notes. It also makes you more time effective. But when it comes to factoring, how you're going to set up to get paid, not including getting them paid, and make sure the cash flow keeps moving, because you don't want to get double brokered and then all of a sudden that factoring don't clear and your money's off in some other foreign land because somebody got you, because you didn't look at the red flags and stuff that we teach you with the overall full encompassing premises of how factoring works. Now, why it matters, independent dispatchers are responsible for ensuring all parties comply with the federal regulations. There's your word, federal. Non-compliance can lead to the fines or the loss of your business. That's their authority. A program must teach you how to navigate these rules to protect your business and the clients. Exactly. So example, now looking for a program that includes a module on checking the carrier's authority via the FMCSA, safer system, that's safer web, and it's actually public, but that's probably going to be fixing to go away. I keep saying it, but the movement is actually supposed to happen in September, October, where FMCSA gets rid of the MC and everything isn't going to be encompassed under a DOT number. Because right now you have an MC number and a DOT number. So one's going to be gone, and hopefully that's going to help with scams for like double brokering and things to that degree. And double brokering is more than just somebody having the ability to get you, bypass you and doing with the factoring. Because remember, the broker's looking at it too. When you call him and complain, hey, we didn't get paid, we were double brokered, or whatever the hell he apparently did, if he did do it and didn't give it to somebody that was actually authorized as an actual carrier, and they turned around and resold that freight. Obviously, you're the victim, sold it to you, and now they collected the funds and you didn't get paid. So, but the thing is, you have to understand, you have to make sure at the same token, whenever you're doing everything, do all your paperwork, because what if you have to go from the offensive to the defensive stance because they're saying you were a part of it? Okay. You see how this can really accumulate? It's not like this happens every day. It's not to deter you from what we do. It's to understand that you have to accept the training that you're getting from me, and you have to actually live it, learn it and live it. Okay. Now, practical hands-on learning opportunity, what to look for. Simulating dispatch exercises to practice board loads, negotiating the rates, and resolving issues. Yes, we give you that, but remember, when it comes to resolving issues, that's the reason you're directly on me with Telegram, so you can ask me those, and that way I can help you. I don't care how long you've been with me. Okay, I social network. This is what I do. I'm in logistics. So if those things arise, then obviously just text me through Telegram, and I'll give you exactly what you need to do or what you don't need to do, depending on what the issue is. Access to mock load boards and real world tools during training to build familiarity. I don't play with mock nothing. You're actually going to do it with that load boards. Yeah, you're actually calling real brokers. They're actually working, but they got to be good for something, right? Besides just taking your money and selling you freight, and you're not sure how much that the freight even they got it for and how much they're taking off of it before you give it to your carrier. So use them, take them, put a scenario based on where that load is going from, going to, and call them and negotiate that rate. Just don't give them. I mean, if you give them an MC number, use one of your carriers that you already have to send them whatever, whether you're already in their system or you have to do a carrier packet. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to follow through. Because remember, I deal with a lot of truckers. You already got an MC, you know their address, you know their MC number, and you can use it in that reference to actually support that. Now, sometimes they'll ask, well, who's actually issuing the overall given freight? Then my name will have to be on it, but usually it don't go along that far. Because I mean, like for example, I use the MC, the name of the person that was my dispatcher, and uh I use that to negotiate it with the MC. So I can say, because I know the address to my company, and then obviously that'll get you where you can negotiate that freight. But it all depends on who the actual broker is or freight agent, because some of them don't ask for all that. They just want to know what your MC is, and they'll tell you where you're already good in their system, or they're going to need to send you a carrier pack to get that freight. But I'm not wanting to go that far. All I want to do is negotiate the freight, so what freight price you can get, and then say, okay, I did this well on this based on that lane, because you want to learn how to verbally negotiate that freight. But anyways, let's say access to mock global. We went through that one. Opportunities to role play client interactions, like calling brokers or carriers to develop communication skills. When it comes to brokers, yeah, we covered that just now. But with the carriers, if you're going to actually deal with the owner operators, because we provide you with the leads, the owner operators that are needing to talk to a freight dispatcher, I go in there with the first couple if you need me to. Some people don't even need me to. But if you do, I'll go in there and I just tell them, hey, you know who I am, my company, and that I'm actually training you and I'm mentoring you. And, I'll ask or answer whatever questions they need for the first two of them. After that, you should have the rhythm to be able to do exactly what I just did for you. So that's real world live interaction between me and your given carrier that you're actually more or less recruiting to allow you to actually dispatch their freight. Now, why it matters, hands-on experience bridges the gap between the theory and the practice, preparing you for to handle real clients and loads as an independent freight dispatcher. Programs lacking practical components may leave you unprepared. They will leave you unprepared. I can't tell you. That's the reason I'm doing this. I've had so many people. They didn't give me no resources. They didn't give me no leads. They didn't give me no contracts. And whether they did the actual interaction between the load boards and you, that's another thing. But hardly nobody's giving you actual owner operators because the thing is, yeah, I'm training you, but I'm not guaranteeing you job placement. I do have people that you can take your application and they'll, if they want you to be their dispatcher, a dispatcher for their company, they'll do that. I don't have no say so in that. But with you actually dealing with the owner operators, because I get so many of them in based on the way that I actually approach the industry, because I don't approach it like everybody else. I just don't. There are a lot of people going down the wrong road, and I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. It's like sheep following sheep. But thing is, I have to get you where you got owner operators. Otherwise, it's not going to do no good because I'm not training you as a driver recruiter. I teach you how we do it, but I'm not teaching you how to drive a recruiter unless you're actually being a truck driver recruiter on our other part of our company. Then that's all you're doing day in and day out. So an example of this is obviously a program offering a virtual load board simulation or a live webinar practice sessions like Truck Driver Nation's webinar is ideal. Yeah, we do that. But really it's more of a one-on-one because you have me in Telegram. You can ask me all the questions. We really do webinars. We do like 3 of them a week constantly for different things we have in our company. But when it comes to this, I go through everything with a lot of video content, and you got to just start practicing going on there and negotiating that freight. Because as you're asking me, like I tell people, record the conversation. If I see, because remember, a lot of my people are already truck drivers, but if I see you can't do it, then I'm going to go in there with you and we will do some. And it's just me and you. It's a one-on-one. It's not us and somebody else. But remember, that's not something we guarantee in our course because I don't know who's doing what, and I don't know what you need until you tell me because everybody doesn't need everything because I'm dealing with a lot of people that are already in logistics. They're just missing some of the content, and we fill in those gaps, even though they have to take the whole course. But everybody's need for what we need to teach them because this is a virtual, interactive, basically one-on-one type of deal where you work when you learn when you want, how you want, and all that. But that's also the reason we give you a 90-day window because we don't want you dragging out further than 90 days. That means you're never going to learn nothing because by the time you learn the stuff when you started, and at that point, you never forgot the stuff when you started, when you actually started learning. I hope that makes sense. So you got to stay engaged. Do not even come to Truck Driver Nation if you're not ready. It wastes our time. It wastes your money. You get pissed off at us for whatever reason you think is justified, and it's not. We do this every day, day in and day out. So please make sure that in your heart that logistics is something that you really know that you would appreciate, love, respect the owner operators, and make sure that you're generating the best gross revenue you can for them. Because since you're doing percentage anyway, whatever benefits them, surely benefits you. The next thing we're going to talk about is the business setup and marketing guidance. What to look for. Now, training on setting up an independent freight dispatcher service, including an LLC, formatting the EIN acquisition, and business licensing, I just teach you. I just literally give it to you. This is what you need to do. Exact same way I did it. So that we covered that. Advice on marketing your services. We absolutely covered that. Some of these things, like they're saying LinkedIn and Facebook, oh, hell no. But we do give you exactly what needs to happen to make you extremely effective. Client acquisition, we help you with the owner operators, like I said. Financial management. Now that's going to be your invoicing, budgeting, figuring out what the fixed costs and variable costs are in the industry. But we do have videos where we teach you all the bells and whistles. As what we teach you is literally you could actually go out and get your own trucks. But I wouldn't advise for it right now, but you can go out and get your own trucks and know every little thing that's actually going to be the overhead in actually acquiring a truck and running that truck as far as those fixed costs and variable costs. Now, why it matters, obviously, as an independent freight dispatcher, you're running your own business. I cannot tell people, no, well, we're working for you. No, you're not working for me. You are an actual independent freight dispatcher. We do allow you to use our name. You do have to sign a contract that says, yes, I work with Truck Driver Nation in the aspect that where you're using our overall, our branding to kind of help people get recognition to who you are. And obviously, they can call me and I'll tell them exactly everything I know about you, the quality of student you were, the history you have, if I remember that, because remember, we don't take applications on this, but because you're a student. But overall, if you got to let me know ahead of time if we're going to need you to help you on that level. So we can, when you talk to that owner operator, whether they're going to give you a chance or not, That way you can transmit that information and make sure they understand where you're at. A lot of people grab it and go, and some of them are really good. Then I've got some that struggle. And usually, what we see in that given instance, they normally team up with another freight dispatcher and work together until they become more fluent with the data that we've already taught them because it's a day in, day out routine, and increase your problem solving skills. Now, now, a program that only teaches dispatching skills without the business setup guidance leaves you incomplete. This is crucial for long-term success. Again, dispatcher schools are out there dime a dozen, and they're not teaching what you need to know. And you're paying all this money. You pay a hell of a lot more than $500 for the, because I got companies that charge 3,600 to $6,000. You'll see them, and when you do, you'll be glad you got back a hold of me. But the whole thing is, that doesn't make sense. Well, what did you get? Where are you going to go with that? You're missing too many moving parts. But look for a course that includes a downloadable dispatcher starter kit with templates and contracts for marketing strategies as suggested by Truck Driver Nation. We give you everything. When you get the website turned on, it stays on. All those contracts, you don't have to download them. They're broke up and tell you exactly what they're for. They're even grouped up, put in groups. So you know you have to have all this done when you do whatever you're going to do for that particular task. And you can go in there and get them as you want. But that being said, you got to have the tools to work with. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels. Access to industry tools and resources. There you go again. So what are you looking for? Now, training on the obviously industry standard tools. This is what we use every day. And now there's a lot more than this, but this is what we use every day. We use that. We use Truckstop, 123 Load Board, TMS software. Whether you're going, there's all kinds, Axon, Aljex, and all them people. You can use any of that software, but those you're going to have to actually pay a monthly subscription. I don't use none of that crap. I use the load boards because I got to. But remember, your owner operators are already going to have their load boards because if they got their MC, they've already been loading their trucks. What you need to do when you do it, talk to them, get the subscription. Say, look, put me on my own deal for that or load board. It keeps you from even having to pay that. Okay. They'll put you on there, make sure they do a two-step verification on there so you don't have to sit there and worry about getting hold of them every time you need to log in. Now, really, you only need one load board. You can cover all your trucks, but don't make the mistake of actually putting, because you're on somebody's load board and your head's there, don't make that mistake of putting that load on somebody else's truck because that MC number and that DOT number do mean something even on those bills when DOT pulls you in there for inspection. It has to be the MC that there's going from that truck needs to match that freight that you're securing. So when you're telling that broker, this is my MC number, make sure it's to the right truck. And we have had that happen. I don't say this crap out of theory. It's happened. And then they call me trying to fix it. I'm like, dude, you're in a badass spot, you know. And obviously we go through and however how it works out with the broker, then that's fine. But the thing is, you don't want to screw up and get that overall company a freight card. And that's a hope we teach all that stuff in the course. So access to templates for load sheets, invoices, and broker packets to streamline the operations. Absolutely, we give that to you. We tell you exactly what you're going to need, how it needs to be formatted step by step, so you've got it and you're ready to roll forward. Recommendations for affordable software or free tools to manage your dispatching tasks every time. I love the word free. I am one cheap ass bastard. Okay, I mean, if it wasn't like I tell people. I mean, I ain't gonna get off because I get crazy when I start thinking about this stuff. But just trust me, free is where you want to be. Okay, there ain't no sense in giving dollars to somebody else because they're giving you a piece of software. Once you see actually what you're using in that software, you'll be like, "Damn, dude, I sat there and programmed it. I did all this, and I could have done this another way." And that's the whole point. And people ask me for my recommendations on the software, and we do teach the what we actually use inside of our course on the exact steps that we use. Like I said, you want to press all them extra buttons, have a good time. My company runs fine without me knowing everything in that software. But does that software make my life easier? Some of it does. Some of it I got rid of. I was like, no way, it don't do this. In this piece of software, I've got the same things that I need in this one. So why should I get two pieces of software? Because I only need this level of software to help me operate. Because remember, I'm only dispatching 7 trucks. Another thing, which is optional access to membership or support post training for ongoing guidance. I do mentoring. Okay, you ain't gotta access this. I don't know who in the hell what they do and all that good stuff because I don't know them, right? But I mentor everyone. I am here to help you because if I'm not here to help you, you're screwing up our industry by not being able to help that owner operator. Um, that being said, I mean, when you're going to find out I'm 100% pro trucking. I love transportation. I love trucking. I love trucks, but see that white hair? That shit ain't there. I didn't dye that. That actually came. That's all natural. And that means that I'm at that point where I can't keep running up and down those interstates, fighting with idiots, trying to keep them off the top of me. The industry's changed. The trucks have changed. The regulations have changed. And it's not that I'm not good with change. I'm just not good with riding all the time because it beats me up. My shoulder hurts, my back hurts, my hip hurts, all that good stuff. Welcome to my next stage. It's called geriatrics, and I'm heading that way. That being said, the mentorship, that's something I do have to give, and I got plenty of knowledge. Just make sure you got the right question with what you're actually needing in detail so I can give you the right answer. Now, obviously, an independent dispatchers rely on the tools to stay competitive. Oh, yeah. Um, a program that introduces you to these resources or provide them, like say digital dialogues, which we do have, saves you time and money when starting out. I'm trying to get all the learning curves out of your woodwork so you're not sitting there with a finished product that looks like you took two damn pallets and nailed them together. That's the whole thing behind what I do. So as long as you're open your ears, open your eyes, you got three ways of learning: auditory, visual, and then practical. As long as you're actually using those and understanding each one, some people are stronger in one than the other, I mean, or the other two, then you should be moving forward without delay. But always make sure to engage me. I can't read people's minds again, so please engage me. I will give you what you need. Now, a program offering a discounted data subscription or a free trial as part of the enrollment adds significant value. Yes, but thing is, with low boards, it's going to require that you have an MC to access it. And since I highly suggest that you do not go get an MC because now you're paying insurance and everything on that MC, unless you're going to have trucks on it, there's no need in it. That's the reason we only deal with owner operators that are committed enough to have their MC, because I know they're going to protect their MC and they're going to follow our suggestions if we see any red flags that could jeopardize that MC or basically spark some kind of inspection or anything based on the way we do business day in and day out for them. But anyways, we'll follow up with more of those particular details and red flag type of stuff as we go through the course. Now, credibility and industry recognition. Programs offered by a reputable organization with a track record in logistics, education, like Truck Driver Nation, because it mentions my name, obviously, because this is set up for myself. Yeah, I mean, I've got 30 years in it. Okay. I went to school, did college, paramedic and nurse. That has nothing to do with this. What it does have to do is the overall ability to understand formatted education and the ability to understand different ways that people learn. So I can address each person's needs with that understanding in the back of my head, which way is making this person stronger. Yeah, you can obviously make yourself stronger in one area to kind of compensate for that other one, like having a bad leg, get you a crutch that kind of subsidizes for the other leg kind of deal. That being said, that's what I'm looking for, to make sure that you're up to speed and you're not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Otherwise, that's a half commitment and you're going to have a hell of a lot harder time. Not that you don't have the work ethic. Work ethics is really, really important, but you got the overall understanding so you're not staying lost in the game when it's not just you that it's affecting. It's affecting that owner operator. Alignment with industry certification, such as the NDFCA. I don't do the FDCA, got 30 years. Whatever they're providing, I'm sure there's probably something I could learn from them, but I stay so busy, I can't step off into these other people's worlds. I have to maintain my own with the companies that I deal with and the students I deal with and the truck driver recruiters I deal with. So I've got plenty of knowledge coming from every direction. Scenarios, I live and breathe this every day. Because I get some people, well, can you make it automated kind of where you do it like a basically a passive income? I don't know what you think this is. Yes, AI is coming in. Yes, brokers are using AI to actually give you the freight and stuff. And can you use this as a freight dispatcher? Yes, but not as an instructor. Okay. I wish I could. And I know that because I've had lots of people saying I can get you hooked up with this and get you AI stuff implemented so it lessens your loads. I would love it. But nobody's brought nothing to my attention. And I put this message out there all the time. If you know something, let me know. It would help me. But anyways, a credible program. Let me hold up, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry. Positive reviews or testimonials from past students who have succeeded as independent dispatchers. I got a piss load of students, right? But thing is, once they get going, the last thing they're interested in is me. They paid me for a service and they want to keep moving forward. So yes, do they actually still talk to me as a mentor? Yes, through Telegram. And I answer their questions, but they're busy people. That's one thing about this. Between that 7 and 5, like I tell people, you got to go, go, go. That's your time. Otherwise, why would you drag what you got to do way over into the evening? Unless you got something wrong with that owner operator's truck or the freight has moved or something like that, your day should be done. Burnout, this burnout can even happen in this. Um, let's say instructors with real world dispatching experience to ensure practical, relevant training. Yeah. I mean, that's a joke question to me or quote joke statement because thing is, everything I learn, even new stuff I learn, I pass it on to everybody because you need to know, just like clearinghouse or a CSA stuff or whatever it is, I make sure you understand it. Do you need that as being a freight dispatcher? Not necessarily, but the more you know about your industry, the more overall encompassed objective and subjective view that you have on the data. A credible program enhances your resume and builds trust with clients. Unverified or low quality programs may not be recognized by brokers or carriers, um, hurting your credibility. I don't know where my credibility is at. I know I get people sending me a message, hey, you know you're on here. I mean, and I always worry. I don't want to be scrutinized in the level that I've got bad reviews. Now there's nothing I can do about them. I can obviously kind of, come back with some kind of statement saying, well, look, I don't know the situation. Because remember, there's always two sides to every story. Okay. But that being said, when I see that given content, most time is I mean, well, basically every time it's good, but it ain't. I'd like to read a lot better. Okay, so there's a level of contentment, and then I always want to exceed my expectations. But overall, anybody that's ever had any bad reviews about us, because me say I haven't had none, as soon as there's something underlined, that's the reason we actually changed our program. The way we were giving people money, like letting them take the course basically up front and paying us later. I had to stop it. People just they don't want to follow up on their commitments, and so I had to step away from it because I found ourselves we seemed like we were wanting to dispute with people, and then I had to actually start trying to get a debt collector. I don't want to go down that road. I want this to be simple. I've lived and breathed this. I don't feel like making this into a full-fledged crazy business. I teach freight dispatching. I take care of my owner operators, and I take care of my drivers that need jobs. That being said, way that your overall profile, the way people are going to view you, you will never ever, ever please everybody in the room. You say what you are, you stand for what you are. What's that? It was a song, um, if you never stand for something, then you'll fall for anything type of deal. I stand for what I am. Okay. Clarity, transparency. You may not like the transparency, you may not like the clarity, but there's alternative. Kiss my ass. Because the thing is, I'm not here to play games with people. I'm here to help you be the best you can be for those owner operators. Like I said, when people don't understand what we go through out there, we go through a lot, and all those different experiences and everything else I've brought over into my business, and I've done real well. I feel like I really have produced some good quality people that are going to be a blessing to the industry. But anyway, so check if the program is endorsed by the industry bodies or has verifiable graduate student success stories and platforms like LinkedIn. Yeah, I got LinkedIn, but most people hit me on YouTube and stuff like that. You know, do I have praises or whatever? Like I tell people, we actually recruit for trucking companies, 58 of them. We try to stick to the smaller ones because we actually can board the drivers faster, but because nobody like Swift, US Express, or any of them are going to care who I am. But for the smaller industries where we actually have a significant impact on the number of drivers that we send to them to keep their equipment in motion, those people absolutely I can use those as references. I know that they've always got my back. They know what we do, and that's a great feeling. That means we're doing something right. But if it comes out there, people say I'm on this site or I'm on this site, I got good reviews and all that, or these reviews that are they're not bad, but they're trying to question something. They're trying to get more information about who we are. And why they don't just call me, I don't know. My phone works. But anyways, that being said, that's kind of how our see this. But make sure when you're building your reputation, look, this is your line of credit. Don't hurt yourself. Do whatever it takes to make somebody happy because the customer is always right. Absolutely. But sometimes they go way overboard what they think they're entitled to. That's the reason everything we do in contracts. So even when you sign up, we give you a contract on what we're providing you, and we meet those overall, good Lord, my language is going bad. Their overall expectations of what we're actually giving them. So, and if they want to go beyond that, well, we have ways that you even go beyond that. But overall, teaching is a freight dispatching course and getting you where you're working. That's the main thing we concentrate with people wanting to transition over to be an independent freight dispatcher. Now, flexible and accessible format. Spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money, but I spent more than I thought I was going to have to. I didn't see this coming, but we did get all this straightened out. So online or hybrid delivery to accommodate your schedule. We had to do this for the truck drivers. Nobody stops at the same time in order to be able to go to class, especially if you're working or transitional from another career like truck driver, which is a majority of our clients. But we have started offering it to the general public. That's been a whole new transition. I got mothers, I got kids, I got mothers that are babysitting their, I mean, they're watching their own mother because they're kind of not saying end of life, but they're older and they need that assistance. All that stuff comes into play now is a totally, now I'm used to it from being in medicine, but it is a whole new platform that I'm having to adapt myself with as an instructor to ensure that I'm keeping those folks engaged because I'm worried that they're going to think the life's overall daily activities is going to surpass their ability to actually get their training. And, it does come down to them, but I'm here for them to help them in any way possible. But so, also self-paced learning, that is exactly what we do. You got the flexibility to take it anywhere you go, do it anytime you want to, inside that 90 days, and with access to everything. I mean, we did it with the book, the videos, with all the instructional stuff in that video content. The truck drivers use them like audiobooks for the way we do our platform. So yes, we have it available for you. But if you got companies that you're doing, they don't give you all these different parameters between everything we started mentioning, the whole presentation in this to this point, then you just that thing that's not going to work because you don't have every moment of the day to breathe dispatching and because I have to breathe those stuff outside my trucks too. Like, I'm taking care of my guys. I know they're moving. I know they're freight. But what if I'm pre-booking? They eat up more time. So time management and figuring out where the break point is that you don't have enough time and you need to outsource and get some secondary help. That's the reason I offer that we got people from the Philippines. You're paying less than $400 a month for them to work full time for you for every week. That's per month. You heard it right, per month. And they speak English. They work with American companies. They may have quit and they can't find another job because jobs here in these other countries, third world countries, are not like the United States. We can quit a job and go to work almost instantly the next day in some of the fields, depending on what your all field is, and be back up and working, very quickly. Let's see what else. Short duration, 1 to 4 weeks, to get you started quickly without excessive time commitment. Yeah, we got our 8 weeks is way out there. That means hell if they're not either studying or whatever it is. I'm not saying that because people actually have different learning levels and different because people that because we do actually get people that have medical issues. They can't walk no more. I mean, whatever it is. So we accommodate to people with disabilities. That being said, that's the reason you get delayed. What if they have a visual disability and they have to, because they got special equipment? People that are disabled are not disabled in the form they cannot do it. They just have to get the circumstances and the setups right. And but kids too. It's not a disability, but the kids eat you up a lot of your time. Being a mother, a housewife is a full-time job in itself. So for those folks, it slows them down. And so we're looking out as far as 8 weeks. Average person, like a truck driver, 2 weeks. I mean, like bam, they take their test, they're certified, and because they know so much about it that it's really quick. But remember, this is a course that's designed for the flexibility to help you in whatever stance or whatever where you're at in that given point in life to get you where you can actually become a freight dispatcher. Affordable front pricing. Now, like $500, that is very clear, a great value. Don't take a genius. Look at all the other ones. They're going to nickel and dime you until you're thousands and thousands of dollars into it. For us, since we've made it virtual, we set everything up so it doesn't eat a lot of my time. It's expanded over X number of students. I can get what they need quick, and they can keep moving along. But the way we did it, brought it all the way down to 500, that gives you absolute course. You don't need nothing other than that in the true sense of things. But for people that need those accessory or additional components, because of the way they're planning on setting up their business, they're available. But even on the way that you pay for this, for us, we got it where you don't have to just pay $500 down. We got Afterpay. We also even got one pay as you go because I got truck drivers that are coming out of the truck that are butt ass broke. They don't have no $500 and they may not be able to get Afterpay. So we fix it, it's pay as you go so they can give us a small down payment because they got to have some skin in the game. And then they move forward on 30-day increments and they're paying us. So that's the way we handle that. Now, independent dispatchers often need to start earning quickly. Yes, yes, yes. A flexible, accessible program allows them to learn while managing other opportunities and responsibilities, like whatever they got going on in their life, especially for a global applicants. So we've got what's called digital nomads, and they have definitely ran to us to get trained and get the same access. Now they do have to be Americans. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is the actual industry that I love. So if you're not in the United States, I mean, if you don't have that social security number, that means that you're not actually a United States citizen. So we actually have to have it that you have that. I'm sorry, and I get it all the time. I get people from all around the world, but that's my responsibility. And if somebody knows something different, well, let me know. But as far as I know, everything I've ever known, because I'm raised in the United States, I'm a redneck child, Mississippi, Alabama, that if you're not from my country, then it's hard for me to help you. Now, can I give you tasks to do with my company that helps me? That's what I tell everybody. That if you're a freight dispatcher and you need the back office help, you can use them as virtual assistants and stuff. But when it comes from me giving you data about our generation, about my truck drivers, about the people that trust me, I can't. It's just not going to happen. And actually, because people want to learn our system so they can actually use it as a access point to like double broken, for example, anything that they can figure out. There's people that sit around with shit in their head about how they can steal money from somebody else. But let's say a program with 24/7 access to video lessons and weekly live webinars for Q&A is ideal. We got that. So, and a lot of them. So depending if you want to learn about the other aspects of what we have to offer, you're not just doing that one. Because if you got great time management or you put your kids to work doing freight dispatching or whatever, I've seen 14-year-olds dispatch loads. Okay. It is not, and kids are smart. Don't think they're not smart. Only a fool thinks a kid's not smart. I used to work for Children's Hospital. They know what they're doing, whatever development or growth and development stage they're at. They're not knuckleheads. They really do. Uh, some people grab it by the horns. It just depends on the parents' teaching skills or parenting skills kind of deal. But post training support, this is after and networking. This is one thing you need to look for. Accessing to a community of same minded professionals in that given network, like that would be with dispatching. I teach a lot of stuff that you would never think of. And I'm not going to go through it here because it takes me forever to go through it. But when you attend a course, I give you a whole new window other than sitting in an office generating your freight from there or thinking that you go directly to direct shippers. If you're not thinking outside the box, business is business. It is a global, you don't know who you're actually talking to most of the time when you're talking to a stranger. So make sure that there's other communities outside just being inside of an office setting and what's on your load board. This is for people that are elevated and what their actually overall goal is. That I teach you how that's actually accessible. Job placement assistance. Yeah, we got jobs that we can place you with, but it's not our decision whether they're going to hire you or not. People confuse us all the time. I'm like, this is job assistance, job placement assistance. We have the jobs listed inside our website. Those are people that most of them, like as far as a freight dispatcher, we already recruit for them companies. And those companies are interested in hiring freight dispatchers. But I don't have I don't sign off on you being hired there or not. This them, this independent company. I'm just represent them on the main thing because even the truck drivers that we send to them, it's still their call whether they're going to hire them or not. Um, let's see. Ongoing resources such as updating training materials and industry news, subscriptions. Yes, I do blogs. Everything I try to keep up to speed. If you see something that's missing, please let me know. We obviously go in there and make corrections because that's the whole thing about having a business. It's more than just us for teaching you this program. Let's make sure that we stay up with the FMCSA, DOT, industry, fuel, big one, employees, equipment, all this good stuff. So, as you need some of this stuff, please reach out. But we actually really do fight hard, and we go over even our website and stuff. It's pain in the butt because it's not just here, click that message, take it out, and throw something else new in there that's up to speed. There's other components that gets the message out there through our whole marketing strategy to make sure that that message reaches all those different points, so that we don't have something lagging in one of our the branches of the way we market, and because it takes away from who we are. Mentorship and coaching. Okay, this right here. We do have an advanced one. You actually have to pay more. Like most people, what they do, they pay 500. That gives you the whole course. Okay, you are ready to go. But for those that actually want to how we do business, like I'm basically for this one, you actually can call me. I mean, besides me calling people that are really jammed up, I do call them because they're my students. But for people that want just more or less free access to me. You still have to schedule an appointment, but if you want the real access of how we do business and all the things that I know based on the questions that you're gonna need answered, then I'll tell you exactly how we do things. Because I've been 30 years, you're not gonna take my business. Holy shit. I mean, $1.4 trillion last year that we did gross revenue. I need like a small piece of that pie. Okay, let's keep it realistic. You're not going to take my business. So for those people, I actually reach out and I take them as far as I can. I can make actual intercompany connections and stuff like that. That's what that extra $750 is for. You want that, then I give you what you're asking for. That being said, that you don't have to pay the $1,250 up front. They usually pay 500, get through that step, and then pay the 750. If that point they don't see that they're ready to grow, then they can reach out and then we'll go from there with that extra option. No, so starting an independent freight dispatching as a dispatcher can be daunting, demanding, basically. So post training supports help to transition you into the actual role and build your client base, increasing your chances of success. If you're not successful in this, then we really do have a problem because I'm picky about the people that actually let in. Most people don't realize it. It's not me being um, prejudice or anything like that. Some people, I just know they're not going to make it because I've been doing this quite a while. And it's not about your money. The whole thing is when you get done, I'm still networking with you. I am Truck Driver Nation. I want my name to be out there in good light. I want you to be, I should actually always come back to me and say, hey, I know this or I need this or whatever. I'm here. We're all in the same business. We do logistics, but some people ain't really cut out for this. And I can see it coming just by out of what I'm hearing. Even the ones that are hungry. I'm like, like I tell people, I'm like, you know what? There's other freight. I literally have to do this because I don't want to let their hopes down. And maybe I made a mistake. But in my heart, I'm feeling like I'm saving them. I'll say, look, there's other dispatch training companies that are out there. I would think maybe you want to, look at them, kind of see if they might be a better fit for it, because I don't want to see them failure and then they lash out at me. Misery loves company. Okay. And I try to stay out of it as much as possible. But that being said, that's actually the way, and you can talk to anybody. That's the way I feel about it. Yeah, you can see me as a hard ass and all this stuff. I'm not here to appease the world. I'm here. This is my time, just like it's your time. And I'm here to do what's best for me and the people that work for me and the students that come through my doors that expect me to actually give them 100%. Let's see what else we got. So, a program with a private Facebook group or monthly webinars for graduates fosters long-term growth. Yes, we have that. I don't really play with Facebook. We got a Facebook site, but I'm not all over that. I mean, I got better ways. It's 2025. That's old school ways of actually handling stuff. That being said, I'll leave it at that. Now, why does everything why does this criteria matter when actually becoming? This means all the stuff that we actually covered. So it's more like a recap. So as an independent freight dispatcher, you operate without the safety net of a company, making it essential to have comprehensive skills, regulatory knowledge, and business acuteness, and that's what we give you. A high quality of training program like we do here at Truck Driver Nation offers you every bit of that and then some. So you can actually secure and manage loads effectively using the tools like load boards and stuff we'll teach you. Also, you're using as far as how to comply with FMCSA and DOT regulations to avoid legal issues, and they will come down on your driver. So you don't want to destroy his career by you not standing, keeping everything up to speed and you watching out for these things because you're going to know these people. It's the same people you're dealing with day in and day out. You build a sustainable business through effective marketing and client relationships. Also, start working quickly with a minimum startup cost. Look, I've done in the business. There ain't nothing I know that I ever did that it did cost me hard. I had everything I needed basically when I started this. So obviously, and you're leveraging also the provided resources that we hand to you. That it's a win-win. You're not going to make a loan and go straight into debt with overhead. Then now it's haunting you every month. This is a no-brainer. I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you other than what I'm telling you now. And me to say, trust me, I don't like saying that crap. But thing is, with all the people we do and the way it's taken care of me in my life, I can tell you I'm nobody special. It works. It works for me because it just works because it's already there. This is the federal government. This is Big Daddy Pimp, Uncle Sam watching out for himself. And you're just one of the piglets on the tit. And it's a great place to be because it's taking care of me. Now, that right there is basically, I'm going to basically end it. The rest of it's just a recap of everything we're already done. This has already been long enough, as you can see. But anyways, I hope this helped you to understand what you're looking for and actually picking out a company that will help you become a freight dispatcher in today's market and the overall industry to help you be successful. That does require elbow grease on your part. This is a job. So if you don't have that work ethic and able to work from home without somebody being over your shoulders, and you got people out there depending on you, then don't do this course. Don't do no course. You're not ready for it. It ain't settled in your mind yet how this works. But like I tell people, if you want to attend the webinars, get a hold of us. Get a hold of us through the our phone numbers as well as it listed below. It's in our website. Make sure to visit truckdrivernation.com to get encompassed idea of who we are. And but anyways, I hope this helped you. And everybody be blessed, be safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. So we'll move on to the next subject.